Dun, dun, dun,
It's
dun,
starting.
dun, dun.
It's starting. I look so fat. All right. Oh, wait. I need to go over to where I can see the chat. Because that's important.
Oh, I can hear myself.
Well, mute it. That's your own fault. But tweet about it.
I'm gonna tweet about it.
And then I'll
oh my
retweet.
Gosh, now I can hear myself. Hey everybody.
What's going on? So it's not just me. Also, Mr. Perger himself from Defunctland is also here at my house, and we're in my makeshift basement. Well, I mean, like, the basement isn't makeshift. It's completed. But the studio I have here
You're just so vibrant with your hands. I swear, if you hit this and give me a face reveal, I will destroy your life. Just
dude, I did. It's just tastefully turned. You have there's a line of demarcation. You stay on your side.
This is making me anxious.
Do you want to put like a sheet over your head just in case? put your hood up. And
yeah. Okay. This is scary.
We might be joined by other special guests. These are some posters.
Can you guess our special guest?
Dude, do you want another Mickey bar?
I do. Yes, thank you.
Okay, can you hear us both? That's the important question. Can you hear us both? Okay. Because this is like a makeshift bootleg. It just came from Captain Marvel. I just bought 7 boxes of Mickey bars at Target.
Captain Marvel was bad. And no, not for those reasons. We're not going to get into it. It's just.
Did you tweet about it?
No, I just don't want to. I don't want to get into it.
What's going on?
Oh, the live stream? Yeah, whatever.
There's Jack. Jack's here too.
Of course he
is. Can you hear him?
I can't. Where are my headphones? Hey, Jack. Buddy, you here?
What?
Oh, hey, bud.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear you.
Cool. That would be cool. Good. Thank you.
Oh, you want me to tweet about this?
Yeah. Like, tweet the link. Tag
well,
me.
I only got one hand because it's Mickey bar.
Well, you got to work it, man. All right, so Kevin and I have some strong opinions about Galaxy's Edge.
I heard.
And we're going to talk about it. It's going to get real. Jack, no offense to your logo, but I'm just going to lock the camera on me because you don't have your camera on.
Yeah.
So Galaxy's Edge Phase 1, Phase 2 opening is the worst idea Disney's ever come up with. And and these Mickey bars are really good.
These are like $7 in the parks.
Right.
They're good.
They're not terrible.
So one sec. Let me get it on. Get it on. Okay. So I think that the main I'm not gonna do that the whole time.
It's the worst idea ever. This is the most anticipated expansion to any theme park ever. And they're gonna open it without the main attraction. And for everyone's like, oh, Millennium Falcon, whatever, is an e-ticket. It's not an e-ticket.
I'm one of those people. That's me.
It's a glorified mission space. I said it.
Except not as fun.
No, it's
and if little Ricky doesn't press the green button at the right time, everyone's going to survive.
Grandpa dies.
Oh yeah, the ride kills Grandpa. You have to insert a loved one into like the smuggler cargo bay, and if you don't make it, they die. That's like a Black Mirror episode right there. Holy smokes.
No, well, okay, the cool thing about Smuggler's Run is from all reports, they say you're actually, so like Mission Space, you're not doing anything at all. But apparently on Smuggler's Run, you really are. Dan, you're on the screen right now.
I don't.
So like maybe the phone.
I'm just retweeting what you tweeted.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
I'll give it a quick retweet. Give it a quick retweet, bro. No, there's no way that the storyline is going to change if you don't press the green button in time.
No, dude. Okay, well, like you can argue this, but this is like real.
That mission space, there's no point to press any buttons.
Oh no, mission space. If you don't press the green button in time, it says autopilot taking over, and it's the same exact video screen.
Right, and so you're going to hear Chewie cursing and Wookieese
like
from the gun pit.
It's actually a video game. Like you actually control it, but there is a setting that should things go wrong, it can take over, so you still get a cool experience. But no, if you actually you can have a totally different.
This is the AI Elon Musk was warning us about, dude.
Okay, so that's your new.
You're gonna go to a Disney. You're gonna go on your Disney vacation. You're going to try to enjoy your smuggler run, and then the AI is going to come in and take over because you don't know how to do it. All right. So, it's not an e-ticket, though. It's not an e-ticket. It's a Disney Quest attraction.
It's an e-ticket.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's a glorified Disney Quest.
Is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train an e-ticket?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you're wrong.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is just a longer Goofy's Barnstormer with animatronics.
Yeah, but
it's a children's roller coaster.
Then why do I like it so much?
You're a child. Yeah.
Oh,
okay, well, you're wrong for so many reasons, in my opinion.
Big Thunder Mountain is an e-ticket.
Okay, cool.
Because that's got like a goat.
Wow.
You know what doesn't have a goat? Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Never in a million years.
Oh God!
Did I ever think
here!
I would show up to say that Kevin is 100% right and Dan is 100% wrong?
Yes. Dan, thank you, Rob.
It's an e-ticket.
Hello. I feel like it's like that scene in Toy Story where they're waving Buzz's arm.
Hold on, I'm gonna switch to Rob. Switch to Rob.
It's a video. It's gonna be like you said. Like there's no way the story is gonna change.
Okay, wait, Rob.
Video games are.
Rob. Yeah, I know. Rob. He's uneducated on the topic. We're gonna move on from it. He doesn't understand. It's gonna open, and he's gonna be like, you guys are right. There's no point.
I don't understand.
There's no point in arguing this because you just don't know about it.
Yeah,
what do you mean I don't know about it?
You're trying to compare it to Mission Space, and it's not. It's not.
I'm just saying that it's a 3-minute. And you're in a little cubby.
No. Okay, again, but so see, well, why are we arguing about this? Because you don't know about it.
Resistance is going to be way better. It's going to be the
sure,
highlight.
Whatever. But you don't know. Can we argue something that is debatable?
Yeah.
Instead of this, because basically it's like you hadn't rid Big Thunder Mountain. You're like, no, guys, it's just gonna be a tiny little barnstormer ride. There's only one little go round, and we're like, no, it's a big mountain with multiple drops, and you're like, nope, and we're like, no, it really is. It's like we're arguing, but there's no point because
what I'm saying is that they shouldn't open. They shouldn't call it an opening. They should have called it a soft open preview.
You're yelling. I'm right here. It's different when I'm in the room.
They should have called it a soft open. They should have called it
a phased
soft
opening.
Preview. It's not. You're not going to be seen. Relax. Jeez.
It literally is.
Rob, how are you, dude?
I'm doing good, especially after all of this cool news. Are you going down for the opening?
No way.
Yeah.
No way. No. He's kidding me? I'm not a masochist.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
They did their job. I don't know, man. He actually will wake the children if you're too loud. We're way downstairs. But I don't know. I think personally, the entire issue is a moot point. That we knew they were doing something. We knew they had a plan, and I think they just revealed it. I think it was like, oh no, there's no way this is gonna work, and I think they figured it out. I think this is what they have to do. There's no choice. Literally half of the people that were gonna show up in those first 2 months just said, I'm not gonna come until Rise of the Resistance opens. And that solves the crowd problem. Whether you like it or not, that solves the issue.
But the other half of the people that are going to go are then going to say, I can't wait for the rides to open so I can come back immediately and crowd the park up even more.
No,
Well,
okay. Well,
keep in mind we're a smaller group.
Thank you.
People who will go
Rob,
multiple
take this
times
over.
a year they're not the majority.
Yeah, it costs a lot.
Yeah, Dan. No, Dan. Please. This is again. We should find a point that we can argue, but this point is true. Like it's just like we could research this, and we have, in that the people that go and are planning their vacations are planning a once in a year, once in a 2 year vacation to either Anaheim or Orlando. A lot of people already set that once or 2 times in a year date for June and July. And now that they hear that it's coming later, they're not going to be like, oh, well, we'll just cash out our savings and go a second time. That's done. They missed their shot. The majority of park guests do not have the luxury that I do when I'm down in Florida, and that I can go whenever I want. Annual pass holders, as vocal as they are, and as much as they do show up to the parks when the blockout dates aren't there, they do show up. But thanks to blockout dates, I really do believe that the majority of park guests that were planning trips, this split them in half, and it's gonna help crowds a lot. Now you can argue that it's a soft opening and that you think it's a money grab, because I think there's an argument there. You can argue that it's a money grab. I think it's really a crowd control measure.
Well, I will say that I'm very happy that they have warnings plastered all over the reservation sites now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Plastered everywhere. Because, and even with that, there's going to be a large portion of people that show up there that are completely uninformed, and it's going to be a living nightmare for some of those cast members that have to deal with some of these guests.
I think it's also that, isn't June... like, even June is like a really slow month, especially for Anaheim, right?
What?
June is a slower month.
No,
slower. I don't think it's dead around there.
Slower than like July. You mean?
Is July the slower month? I think it's June now.
I mean, there's
because a lot
summer.
of
June was fine
because the year-round schedule in California, they don't get off until July, so a lot of the kids aren't there during the week.
You think?
I mean, this is like the research that I've done. So because they're on a different schedule than us people that have to deal with seasons and farming, because they don't get off until late June, and then that's when Anaheim at least gets crowded, because all the kids that have annual passes are literally at home. So let's say they're trying to minimize crowds. I'm going to make the case for Disney. Someone said Kevin is high. I'm not high. So here's my case for Disney. Okay, so they split the crowds. Great. Why only open one attraction besides splitting the crowds, and why open earlier? There is so much of that immersive coolness that they believe is going to work that I think they want to try out, and they got to figure out what they can keep and what they have to get rid of before July hits, and more importantly, before the Christmas season hits in Orlando.
Okay, so I will agree. Let's just say I agree with everything you just said, which I do in my heart, but my silly heart wants to fight you. But I agree with what you said. Your mission is true. My counterpoint would be then they need to just roll a full open in Walt Disney World. There's no reason to do a phased open in Walt Disney World.
Huh?
There's no reason to do a phased...
I mean, same reason is that, well, one, either Disney World's Rise of the Resistance is further behind, which it very well might be. I think that could be a possibility that the Rise of the Resistance in Anaheim is a lot closer, because, I mean, I think Magic Kingdom, ideally, that should have been the one that should have opened first anyways, because at least you have the infrastructure at Walt Disney World to deal with the flood. I mean, not effectively, but you there's room,
right?
Like, if there is a traffic jam, there's like a road for it,
right?
Versus like Anaheim, like it's gonna knock out half of California, half of Los Angeles.
Speaking of, remember last Christmas when Disneyland lost all that power?
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Do you know why? I found out what happened.
That the guy that knocked down World of Color was at the same time.
That was completely...
That'd be so funny if it's all the same thing.
Same dude.
Same guy.
Like some Arrested Development level tragedy.
We know you effed World of Color for at least 6 months, but we're gonna give you one more shot.
Yeah, now drive this garbage truck.
He drives
back around.
He drives it right into an electrical pole.
But that's what happened. They a truck working on Galaxy's Edge backed into a transformer and blew it, and that's why half the park shut down at Christmas last year.
Is that worker's name Clark Griswold by chance?
Yeah.
Because it seems so.
And I think his name was Mr. Magoo. Which has a serious lack of representation in theme parks, by the way.
But back to this whole thing, I think there's a lot of interesting things that they're going to try out with the immersion aspect of it, and there's a chance that, well, we know that the first day is going to be chaos, but like that second week, I think, is going to be, like every APs probably have blocked.
Empty.
No, but it's going to be unbearable. But at the same time, you're going to have that's when they're going to be like, okay, we have enough room to do some of these immersive experiences. And that's where a lot of these will be phased out. They'll be like, okay, we can't do an immersive experience at this part of the park, so let's get rid of that. We can't do an immersive experience in that corner. Let's get rid of that. And then they're going to try to work out all those little kinks with that opening. But that's the difference, is you're going to get your money's worth and time's worth for going, is because that's the only time you'll be able to see all of what they originally had planned before a bunch of it gets axed. And so that's why I don't
Rob,
think
do you know when the hotel's supposed to be done?
Yeah, you're the hotel guy, Rob.
Hey,
did you ever figure out why there's a light on top of the dolphin?
No, but I know that other people don't know why, and so that's a whole other rabbit hole. No, there's no info on the hotel yet, but it's not like anytime soon. I'd imagine it would be, if anything, later 2020, early 2021, maybe even after that.
If I remember correctly, didn't they eventually reveal that the limited access, the special access from the hotel into Hollywood Studios is literally just a bus shuttle?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You can't just call it just a bus shuttle. It's a bus that docks with the hotel like a spaceship. Like,
it's a bus with no windows.
It's right. It's made to look like a ship, and then it's
going to feel and smell like a bus.
You won't see any sunlight until you get to Galaxy's Edge.
So what happens when the bus breaks down? What is the immersion plan B for a broken down bus?
Well,
they put blackout helmets on everybody.
we just put on these special Jedi goggles.
Like there's like one 6-year-old in the back of the bus, like freaking out. They're gonna open the door. We're in space.
Bring it down.
I'm wearing these noise canceling headphones. I'll take one off the ear.
That's a good idea. The you're just.
I mean, I think they're just also opening it because they took a look at the progress of everything, and they're like, "Hey, look, that's extra revenue we can pull in. That's extra marketing for the Star Wars brand. They've got a movie coming out. They've got the original show that's coming out to Disney Plus. Like, it's more of like a reason why wouldn't they? You know?
Yeah, I mean, them opening the land early, I don't think it can be seen as like a bad thing or a money grab. Like, they built a $2 billion. I don't even know, like, how much it cost. It cost them billions of dollars to build it, and then people are complaining that they're opening it early without the attractions. They're like, "Hey, we just bought. Oh, by the way, what you're paying for is Disneyland right now. Sorry, we're gonna open the gates and let you walk around. Oh, like it's not like they're like, oh yeah, you want to see a picture of Star Wars? That'll be $200. It's like, hey, we're gonna charge you the same price Disneyland costs, and we're also gonna open up this $2 billion expansion minus one ride. Like it's not. I don't think it's a money grab. I can't believe I'm saying all this. What am I?
There's a real easy fix too, which is you just don't go to Disney until the rest of the don't go to the land until the rest of the land opens, and there you go. You get the whole complete land. It would be I think it would be a justified situation to be upset in if it turned out that it was opening at its original timeline, but then that's when you weren't getting both rides, and then it's like, oh well, really, what you're saying is you're delaying a ride, but that's not the case here. We're getting early Star Wars. I'll take half the land early, then none of it.
So what I just think that they need to do in the future is just not say like they need to like declare that when they really dig into Marvel Land and California Adventure, we know that's going to be a phased opening. There's no way they're going to finish all 3 of those attractions or whatever they're doing all at once. It's going to be like, here's a section, then here's a section, right? I mean, like, it's what they do with Pixar Pier. It seems like it's a habit now that they're getting into. So just establish that like all of everything that we're like, because like D23 2 years ago, they're like, this is or whenever they made the big announcement, everything's coming to you know.
Well, I think that's a false comparison, because nobody is looking forward to walking around Marvel Land.
Well,
they're looking forward to Marvel rides, but walking around Galaxy's Edge is going to be an attraction in itself. It really is. I mean,
right,
that thing's ginormous. But like, what, I get to see the outside of Tony Stark's lair, and if I look up, I can see the brown show building. You know, like it's not comparable. And yeah, no, they will stagger it, because they should. I mean, I don't think they should have even announced all the cool stuff with Rise of the Resistance. That was their mistake. Was if there was a PR mistake here, it was announcing how cool this ride is,
right,
letting people see it, posting pictures, and then just saying, "Oh, we're not going to open it now." The next week, it was literally like last week. So if they were going to do this, it's fine,
because they're toting it like this is the best thing we've ever made,
which they can totally do when it's time. But you know, if they really wanted to avoid the PR disaster, you know, promote Smuggler's Run, make that the cool thing. You know, why show all these mommy bloggers?
Right.
You know, why show them the cool one? Like, show them Galaxy Smuggler's Run, and then blow people's mind later in the year. Or, I mean, if they really want to be jerks, just like say like, yeah, Rise of the Resistance, yeah, we're still working on it, and just like wait for this first attendance drop and then drop it. But they would never do that. I'm dying.
It'd be too long too. It'd be years.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Jack, what do you think?
You guys are making some great points, and I think you said something that's very true.
I love Jack so much.
The land is like an attraction. So I mean, just being in there is going to be its own. You know what I mean? You could open this thing probably with 0 attractions. It's still going to be a mess. You couldn't even traverse it normally. So this whole staggered opening thing is a great idea, if not, you know, just the only one they had. So yeah, Dan, I'm sorry I'm against you. You're all alone on this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one of the...
No, you've all convinced me. It's not a bad thing.
Okay, here's my thing then for the rest of the discussion. So actually, Rob, I haven't even talked to you about this, but I was...
Oh, is this what we talked about?
Yeah, so...
This is going to be good, folks. Buckle in.
What comes... I'm not excited for Galaxy's Edge as much as I am excited for what comes next. Because they are right now... So there's like a fork in the road. Either Imagineering is about to lay off half of their workforce, or we're about to see the biggest revamp of the parks we've ever seen, because Galaxy's Edge took what? How many billions of dollars? Like, is it like $2 billion? Am I saying, is that?
Yeah, I think it was quoted as $1 billion per land, so $2 billion between the two.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. It cost $660 to build Hong Kong Disneyland, or somewhere around there, and it cost the same to build DCA, given those were really cheap parks, and it was Eisner era towards the end. And so bad and Studios Park, but bad examples for sure. But with now double that money, so that operating budget, I know they've been working on it with it for like 6 years. 6 years is enough time to build a 5th gate. And if they said, hey, we're building a 5th gate, it's going to cost us the same as Star Wars Land did over the same amount of time, except for now they have the revenue stream from Star Wars Land to up it. There has to be a 5th gate. Rob, 5th gate? We feeling 5th gate? 5th gate? 5th gate?
I'm actually torn on 5th gate. Here's the thing. I think they're waiting to see. I think from a business perspective, they're waiting to see that Star Wars hotel and what it does. Because if that does half as well as it sounds like it could, I could see that being the new thing.
What did I say to you?
Is more immersive hotels.
It's exactly what I said to him. I said to you, if it's not, well, they're gonna like level Epcot,
but they have to see first. Like that's
they
the
have
thing.
to see
it could
first,
go
right.
wrong, and then
but we're gonna if it works, we're gonna start seeing heavily themed immersion resort attraction hotels. It's gonna start to happen
because it's what also Universal doesn't have, and even with their third gate won't be able to really do. So it will be unique. It's something
Only
that you could put
I
to
can do it.
so many brands out there. You could throw that. You could do a Marvel experience. You could do Pirates of the Caribbean. You pick whatever Disney property. They could do a themed, immersive weekend. And then I think because everyone's already expecting that it's going to cost an arm and a leg, from a looking at a budget standpoint, it's probably less work, less money, more revenue. And
right. Well, and in addition to that, I mean, wasn't the original intention for the Star Wars hotel to be like you could go there for like 2 to 3 days and be fully immersed, right?
I mean, that is still the intention, and the idea is it's only that. Like, it's not like you can say I'm going to book a week at the Star Wars hotel. Think of it like a cruise. It's we're doing the experience these 3 days. You book for those 3 days. You're right. That's it. So that's your weekend. You're not going to the Magic Kingdom or anything. You're just doing that.
Right, and if that works, then that is going to be a huge crowd sink. If they've got like
no, but that's the thing, it won't, because everyone's talking about how small this hotel is going to be. What it is it's going to be a way to cut down on crowds because you can have less people doing. You get less people in that hotel, but they're paying so much more per that it balances itself out.
Yeah, but that doesn't help the crowd problem.
Well, no, the crowd problem I think is they just keep raising the prices until people stop going. They have a weird crowd problem.
But I think the hotel, I think the resort idea is interesting. I'm not sure it would work. It's definitely not gonna stop crowds. It's a good way to get people to waste money. It's a good money builder. But I really do think a fifth park is necessary for crowds. Because
you're right.
Because even with that, even if you're like, okay, we're going to immerse them to the point that they're not going to go to the Magic Kingdom for those 2-3 days, their kids at the end of those 2-3 days are going to say to their rich father or rich mother, and they're going to say, can I go see the castle now? And then you're going to take them to the Magic Kingdom. And also, this was the point I was going to make, is they're going to really go hard on these resorts after they find out that they can't level Epcot because of all the asbestos. But that's a completely other thing. Once they remember that there's so much asbestos like in Epcot, and they're like, why? Look, that there's like every few years there's like a new guy that's like, why are there so many abandoned buildings? Let's just go ahead and put some stuff in here. And they're like, the new guy, and then he goes in, he's like, oh my gosh, and he gets asbestos.
It's that authentic 80s Epcot.
Yes, I know. It's imagined.
Rob, can you say asbestos?
Asbestos?
Yeah,
asbestos.
What am I saying?
No, it's not asbestos. It's not like we're asbestos buddies.
I say that. It's asbestos.
Asbestos. Yeah.
Whatever.
Like
asbestos.
You're my asbestos buddy.
You're my asbestos buddy.
I'm gonna make t-shirts tonight that say that.
I'll buy one.
Me and Epcot are asbestos buddies.
I'm Epcot's asbestos buddy.
And then on the back, we just print mesothelioma.
Okay, Rob.
It's a spirit jersey.
Okay, Rob.
It's a mesothelioma spirit jersey.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Rob, you ready for this? You're gonna like this because it's a mix of history, but it's under 3 minutes.
Okay.
You didn't like that joke very much. Okay, whatever.
I loved it.
Okay, so when were the two biggest recessions for the Walt Disney Company?
The company as a whole?
Yeah. When were the two dark periods? Like
World War II and the early 80s, late 70s.
Forget about World War II.
Forget about World War II. So you talking about the oil crisis? Both of them?
Okay, no. Okay, whatever. I don't know why I had you guess.
Okay, give me the answer.
The two biggest creative and especially people not going to the parks were from 1979, 1980 to 1985, and then again from 2000 to 2005.
Yeah.
Right? So, what do you notice about that pattern?
I just give me the answer because I feel like my guesses are not going to win.
Is that new CEOs?
Well, I mean, yes, both of them were new CEOs, so you could argue that. But
it's right
20
before
years.
Oh, you just think it's a cyclical?
I think it could be. You have 2000 to 2000, You have 1980 to 1985. You see the same things happening. There are new parks opening, but they're not at 100% yet. You have new movies coming out, but they're not great, and it takes another 5 years after 1985 for them to cycle out all the bad films in production to redo it. 2000, 2005, new parks opening, not doing great. Bad movies in production, takes another 5 years after that to 2010 to get the bad movies out and get the new movies started.
In fairness, 2000, 2005, there were other external forces that were cutting down on
and
travel
so in 1980 and 1985, but we haven't seen that yet, and it's almost 2020 to 2025. The difference is they have so much stuff in these parks that I'm either going to get another 6 seasons of Defunctland, or something's going to have to happen, because Galaxy's Edge opens, and that's going to stay crowded.
Yeah,
Epcot might stay crowded for a while, but if the next recession, which is another thing, is recessions are cyclical. The early 80s and early 2000s recession, and of course September 11th and 1,000 other factors that cause that, but those factors are also cyclical, right? And so if we have another cycle, a recession has to be on the horizon. We've been without a recession in the United States for a while.
Are you trying to say that we're going to have another downswing of attendance, and that they're going to
absolutely. There has to be
do something about it?
After Galaxy's Edge will be the testing point. Galaxy's Edge will either be that this is so Galaxy's Edge will be the factor of, our theme parks, the new movies, are people going to treat and talk as a culture? Are we going to latch on to theme park news, theme park stories, theme park events? Are we going to latch on it to the same energy and passion that we do movies and music? Or is this the peak, and Galaxy's Edge is the thing that's holding up the attention of the masses? And once that's out, people will go, but they won't be engaged anymore, because that's the next big thing. I think that's the two options. Is this the peak, or is this the beginning? I don't think. It's not sustainable either way, right?
That's an interesting perspective, and I think the answer to that depends on what Disney does too. Because here's the thing: okay, look at their competition. Universal's going to have their third gate opening. They're going to go branch into a new world of lands based on video games, which I think Disney's going to have to answer to in some way. Which I don't even know how they could, because that's it. Universal got Nintendo. They won that race there. It really becomes, I think everybody's always looking for a new way to immerse themselves into something else. And I think theme parks are still it. And so it really becomes a question of, can theme parks keep up with all of the technology that's getting better? I would even just on that point be like, I totally no. Theme parks are going to be around for way longer. They made it through. We've come out the other side. Rise of the Resistance is going to blow people's socks off. Flight of
and then the Beauty and the Beast ride that's coming.
Right. It's clear that the technology that is being developed today is making those rides better to a point that cannot be replicated at home. Luckily, the VR craze in theme parks lasted like a few years, and everyone was like, "Oh, gross." Right. So that's over. So now that's
I don't know if it's totally over, but I think it's over for a good long while.
Well, the void, but those are going to be popping up everywhere. It's going to, you know what I mean? I don't think people are going to, I don't think you're going to get in a cart. Well, I hope not.
No, I can't see. I hope, yeah, I agree. I hope not. I think that's kind of a cheap experience, and it's going to be too easy to replicate elsewhere. You're not going to have the actual movement of a ride at home, but it's just too easy to now get a headset and then have that sort of virtual experience. What'll sell, this is why I think No Fifth Gate will see more of these hotels, because that's ultimately, I think all of this is leading towards a future where we have Westworld. And I think whatever gets us closer to that is what's going to be successful. People want to just escape the real world and go into these other scenarios. And I think we're now reaching a point, and you see it with Star Wars Land and you see it with Harry Potter, where it's not about, well, here's that one property's ride and that other property's. No, there needs to be a story that follows you around and all of this interaction. And we're just stepping closer to everybody just LARPing and role playing their fantasies. And I think that's the direction the industry is going to go in. And as long as they can keep up with that, that's when they'll keep doing well.
I don't know.
Right. I mean, like, I'll say that the Harry Potter lands are a really great example of that because
they did a staggered opening and I didn't hear you complaining about it.
No, I'm just talking about their immersion in that you can throw on your wizard robes, you can get that Bluetooth wand, you can take the Hogwarts Express, you know what I mean? Like you can really immerse yourself. What?
It's a magic wand.
A Bluetooth magic wand, yeah.
No, Bluetooth is magic.
It might be. I think it's the same thing that makes your remote work.
That's magic too. I've had too many Mickey parties. Okay, no. Well, anyway.
You're right, Rob. That's the future.
It's not.
It totally is. We're going to Westworld.
100%.
It's the future for someone.
See, I wonder if they're going to keep, if they're going to try it because
it's not the future.
Their answer to that for Galaxy's Edge was, oh, if you perform well in Millennium Falcon, you'll earn credits and you can have there's a barter system. Remember them talking all about that at D23? This whole like commerce system that they were going to have for Galaxy's Edge. They cannot possibly be doing that.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
They're gonna. That's why they're staggering the opening. They're gonna try all that crap out, and whatever doesn't work is gonna get axed in a week, and then the next week something else is gonna be gone. And those people that go for the front it'll be terrible, but they'll get to see things that will never be done again, and they will be the people they're gonna be the people that wrote Alien Encounter before they changed it. They're going to be the people that saw, the first version of Tales of the Okefenokee, which is a plug for my new video on the history of Tales of the Okefenokee. So if you don't get that reference, wait, what did you say, Jack?
I said, wow, that's crazy. But you can't. There's no way they're going to get rid of this stuff. By the way, that they've already announced. Like you can't do that. People are excited for it. That's like saying, hey, we found out we can't actually make the blue milk. It's not a thing we can do. Like you're going to have to make it work. Like I don't know. What are you talking about in terms of them getting rid of stuff?
No, I like they will get rid of stuff. They announced stuff all D23. Like Bob Iger, before he walked out on stage, the rumor is he just added a third cruise ship, and the ship and the Italian shipmaking company was like, "What? We don't have an order for that." Like he just said it before he walked out on stage. I think there's a list on one of the wikis of the things that have been announced by Disney at D23 and conventions that never came to fruition. Muppet Show season 4 on DVD had a whole presentation, never came to fruition. Gigantic, all the Pixar movies that never came to fruition. I was
there when the gigantic beanstalk got revealed.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, nope.
I think you're both right in a way. I think everything that's so far been announced is going to stick around. I think it's all the stuff that hasn't been announced that is going to, because they talk about it in very vague ways. You're going to be interacting with the characters. It's going to follow you around. And we don't really know the specifics of how. And I think to Kevin's point, that's what they're going to be testing. And they're going to go, oh, well, this specific character interaction doesn't really work over here. So we're going to cut that. And they never announced it. So it's not like you're losing out on a promise. They're going to have to figure out where it does work. And so that's where I think you're going to see a lot of that experimenting.
But to back up a bit on the whole Westworld themed experiences are the future. I agree, but they're not Disney's future. I push back on that. It is not Disney, in my opinion, that's going to be doing this as much. They will be doing it with a few hotels. They'll make a good chunk of change. But we got to remember that Disney's theme parks, especially under Iger and then under Eisner as well, are 100% a synergetic money grab.
Marketing machine.
It's a marketing machine for the films, and if you limit those experiences to a small group of people, you ruin that synergy. Like if only 100,000 people a year get to experience the Pirates of the Caribbean hotel, that does jack crap for marketing the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
I agree with that. I think there are 2 points. One, I would say, is a lot of this really depends on who's next after Iger, right? Just looking at Eisner and Iger as leaders, it very much matters who's leading the ship around, what direction they're going to take. But also, I think the parks aren't going to go away. I think they're going to still continue to grow and change, and I think that machine's still going to be there. I think the real question is what is the new stuff they're going to invest in? Like, yeah, I think we'll even still get new lands, but like I'm personally, I think I could see the line being drawn at new gates at like in Florida and California. Like I think that might be where it stops. Well, yeah, definitely not there. But like even in Florida, I could see them saying like, well, we're going to keep working on these 4 parks we have. We're going to add new things. We're going to tie into all our new properties. But as far as new developments, it's hotels or, whatever our Westworld
to be
is.
a 5th gate, though. It's necessary. The
parks are absurdly.
No,
the amount that Orlando can hold, the amount that Disney can hold just in their own hotels would fill the parks.
And now that they have Sesame Street, like SeaWorld's trying to do similar things. And honestly, I saw Sesame Street. I was like, I might go to SeaWorld, which I was like, oh wow,
I thought the same thing.
Which is weird. I was like, that worked.
Yeah.
So like that worked on me at least.
Blackfish?
What? They're masturbating the orcas. Not on Sesame Street.
Matterhorn Matt gave us a super chat that said pizza time, by the way. I don't know what that references, but
it means it's time for pizza.
I would love pizza right now.
Isn't that Spider-Man?
Oh yeah. Okay, but yeah, thank you, Jack.
Thank you. I love Spider-Man.
Jack, listen. Tell me right now, Jack, if you have a Spider-Man unitard, spandex unitard.
No, I do not. I did have the web shooter for a while, but I don't have that anymore.
Okay, so Rob.
I like how he has no respect for us, Jack. He's just all these questions are for Rob because Rob's the great mind and we're just the schlubs.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna just talk, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna still talk. I'll let the professionals do it first.
What the heck are you doing?
I'm just setting it down. What do you think is going to happen? Do you understand how light and cameras work? I just need to scoot my butt back, man.
For the record, I've checked every grocery store in my neighborhood for those Mickey bars, and not a single one carries them.
Well, I got 2. Okay, so Rob, I think a 5th gate is necessary because what they're gonna after Galaxy's Edge, Hollywood Studios could run itself for the next 15 to 20 years.
For sure.
Because after you get Mickey's Runaway Railway open, that's timeless. Once you get, it's done. Like
I think we might see some Tower of Terror changes, but that's a whole other discussion.
Don't even.
I think it's going to happen.
Let's not go there.
Well, with the reboot, it's either Disney's going to grab the rights or it's going to change. But the especially in the direction the reboot goes, because now you're bringing back if the new Twilight Zone reboot is like gory and weirder than kind of like the old kind of now like quaint Twilight Zone where it's like, ooh, you're stuck in a time loop. But if it's now like Jordan Peele goats murdering people, which I don't think it will be. If it is, Disney might honestly say, you know what, let's just cut our losses and go ahead and turn this into Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think even if it's clean and popular, they might do that. I think they might go, yes, it's popular, but hold on, this is on CBS All Access, who is now a competitor of Disney Plus. Why are we going to pay money to help promote that brand when we have this entire wealth?
Okay, right. But that, right, yeah. Twilight Zone's a different issue, though. But I think, okay, so you have Hollywood Studios, that's done. Magic Kingdom is done.
You don't need to do anything to Magic.
You
throw a new ride in.
You added. They're going to add Tron, and that's going to be a huge e-ticket. The only one, nowhere else in the U.S.
Be another 5-10 years before something.
Yeah, I mean, so
and if anything, Tomorrowland is what needs.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think I could expect some changes
like
to
Tomorrowland. Like the alien, like the leftover Stitch area could be something.
I mean, they're gonna throw something in there, and Space Mountain is gonna get a major redo. The moment Tron Coaster opens, they're gonna be like, Space Mountain's closing for a 2-year refurb. They're gonna gut it. It's gonna be as smooth as Disneyland. It's gonna be glorious. But what? Do you not agree?
I don't want it to be as smooth as Disneyland's.
Why would
Disneyland's flaw?
Yeah, why would they do that? That costs so much money. They have a brand new coaster right there anyway.
I know why. Because when I'm on Space Mountain, I feel like, and I've said this before, I'm hurtling through space on a rocket I built myself.
Yeah, but they don't care about you.
Here's what we do.
It's got dropped.
They close Space Mountain for 2 years. They take the Yeti out of Everest, put it in Space Mountain, make it Space Yeti, while they're repairing the mountain structure for 2 years.
Okay, but really, so you have Hollywood Studios, it's fine. Right. It's going to run itself for 20 years. You have Magic Kingdom, after Tron opens, that's at least 10 to 15. You have Epcot, which they're going to fix within the next 5 to 10 years, and that'll run itself for. Okay, they're gonna fix it for general audiences, and then Animal Kingdom is there. I think Animal Kingdom is ready to roll as it is what it is.
I think it'll get a new land.
I think we'll get Zootopia eventually.
Yeah.
You might, but That's
You think that's the best park right now?
In Walt Disney World?
Yeah,
it is. And I've changed my mind significantly after spending a full day there. I was like, I'm going to spend a full day at Animal Kingdom, and it was It was one of the best theme park days I've ever had because the food is great.
Food's really good.
There is multiple e-tickets. It's just a great park, and there's plenty of things there's little things to do, which you barely get anymore. Like to have the shows there, you don't get shows in Disney parks anymore. You don't get to just go on the little nature trails. I mean, it's a very fleshed out park, and I think it could survive the way it is for another 10 years, especially with Flight of Passage and Navi River Journey. So you have 4 parks that after Epcot is renovated, after the coaster opens and Ratatouille opens, and they put a few new things, that could run itself for 10 years. What do? Do you say we're going to go all in on resorts because that is 100% a separate budget entirely, and that is going to be because they open resorts at a certain amount of time. All they have to do is say, oh, we're going to build the same resort, we're just going to build it differently. So it's not like that's going to take up that $2 billion hole that is now just magically in their budget after they finish Galaxy's Edge. And
I don't think that $2 billion hole that carries over. I don't think that's how that would work.
No, but okay, so then that's the
I think that raises the bar for the next thing that they do build, which is hopefully an answer to Nintendo Land, but I don't think they're going to go
but you're operating in that way. They're turning profits at the quarterly estimates with that hole. And they're going to only get more money after Galaxy's Edge. And it's not like they're going to say, oh, finally, we're done. All right, throw that into the profit margin. They're going to say, okay, great. We have this giant thing. It was super successful. Where do we take the money we've gained back and put it into the new investment? I guarantee that money is going to have to be dispersed, or you go with the second option, which I mentioned like 30 minutes ago, which is you lay off half of Imagineering.
I mean, I think that's unfortunately realistic possibility. I mean, you see that with projects in other realms of entertainment all the time. Video game gets finished, they lay off a ton of people. That would suck. But I mean, the real question to that then becomes, though, you have to recognize on a creative level to top Star Wars or to even match Star Wars Land, you need a property that is as big as Star Wars. And maybe Marvel is it with your 3 Marvel lands that they're building around the world. But what else do they have?
Would they co-op any Fox stuff?
Well, there's also a third option, which I didn't even think about, which is that the Imagineers. So we do Rob's option. They don't reinvest the money. So they don't reinvest that money, and that $2 billion is just that purchase that they had to make. But the Imagineers don't get laid off. So what do these people do? Does anybody have any idea where I'm going with this? So Disney's not going to be spending.
Right, you're saying it's Fifth Gate.
No. I'm not saying Fifth Gate because that would cost money for Disney. What is the third option? This is a great quiz. This is like a logic puzzle. So Disney can't spend the money and they can't lay off Imagineers. What do those Imagineers do?
Get really sick raises? I don't know.
They build Disney Sky because the Oriental Land Company contracts them to build a third park in Tokyo, and they have to build a first park for the first time since Shanghai. Because that doesn't cost them money same way that it does to build a park here, and they've already talked about doing it for a long time. So all those Imagineers now go to Disney Sky to build the third Disney Tokyo park. Oriental Land Company fronts the bill, and those Imagineers still have jobs.
I don't oppose it. I don't argue against it. I mean, I think it's just so many variables now, and I think
that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
There's a possibility that it can happen. I mean, especially if Disney pushes it, because Tokyo's going to get real jealous in a few. Because I mean, Iger is basically sick. I imagine he is disgusted by how crappy Hong Kong and Paris's performances are still, and so he's throwing in. He's like, yeah, we're going to throw Frozen, Marvel, and Disney in Paris in studios, and then he throws what else in Hong Kong now. There was something else announced for Hong Kong. I forget.
Aren't they also? Who else is getting? We're getting 3 Marvels.
Hong Kong's getting a Marvel. Hong Kong's getting the Ant-Man and Wasp thing, right?
Yeah, and I think they might. I guess they could expand that area if it's going in the same area. I honestly am just now researching the layout.
Isn't Hong Kong in Tomorrowland? Isn't that what they're doing with their Marvel stuff?
TPM Viz.
What's up?
Hey, bud.
How's it going?
Dude, your camera's on.
I didn't want to say anything.
My camera is on. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh my god. I couldn't even listen.
It's happening.
I couldn't even listen, dude. I was so worried.
Guys, when he came on, my butt cheeks got so tight. I'm like, oh my god,
Dude, you can't have your camera on. Now everybody knows you're more attractive than us.
that was his immediate thought. And it's a shame I'm not even on the chat because the chat's probably like freaking out right now.
Oh wait, this is live.
Dude.
Cool. Wait.
Oh my god.
No, it's too late now. All right, guys, time for the honor system. Everybody watching, just keep this amongst ourselves. Time to see the real fans.
Okay.
I like how I was like, I'm really afraid that I'm going to reveal my face. And then Dan's like, hey, guys.
What were we talking about? Fifth Gate?
Fifth
Oh
Gate,
my God.
something
Oh,
about a
Tokyo.
sky.
Tokyo.
I am crying right now.
Okay,
let's just move on.
To talk about all of the
We
variables
stop the
involved.
broadcast.
Well, I mean, like, what do we? You can't. What do you?
You're going to just unlist the video.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
No, keep it. Whatever.
Like I said, honor system, guys.
There's like 100 people watching. You can preserve the magic here.
That's okay. They all got a little surprise.
To bring it back on topic, I think so many. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people keep forgetting about. We're a year or two away before Iger steps down, supposedly. I think trying to predict what's going to happen a few years after that just becomes too difficult without knowing who's leading and what their style is and what because they're going to have to lead this company after what'll probably be considered one of the most successful periods in recent history. And then two, they're going to have to like set themselves apart somehow. They just can't keep doing what Iger's doing because that's not sustainable. So
But yeah, what Iger's doing is he's keeping the company on art. It's like artificial success. It is. It's like completely artificial because he's okay. Well, I mean, half the success is coming from,
I don't think it's artificial so much as it's limited. He's got a leadership style that has a limited time span. You can't just keep buying more and more companies. Eventually, like there are no more studios left to purchase, no more IPs left to purchase.
Right,
so I think
but that's
was doing
artificial success. That's not Disney's not doing it. I mean, the Disney movies that have come out under his time, I mean, those were Eisner era ideas. Like Tangled, Eisner era, Frozen, Eisner era. Like, yes, they developed them and made them better, but those ideas have been those were end of Eisner. Like, if Eisner would have stayed on, I mean, there might have been a revitalization. He might have been hailed as a genius when he released Tangled and Frozen, because those were his ideas. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or his era's ideas, I should say. And then you look at, and also, I mean, I think like the whole like management style thing, I think Eisner towards the end of his run, and happy birthday to Michael Eisner, he said there might never be another CEO in this industry like me. And he's right. There was no one that stressed creativity as much as Eisner did before he had to worry about the business side after Frank Wells passed. No, like there was no CEO doing that, because CEOs are supposed to be like hot shot. I understand stocks. I understand this and that.
Right. Exactly.
Look at my pocket square.
Look at my pocket. Like Eisner didn't understand any of that. Eisner is like a creative genius when it comes to programming, but like after Frank passed, he didn't know what to do. And so there's never going to be that again. So like, who's going to come next is the person that's best at QuickBooks Pro. Like, that's going to be like, who wants to replace Bob Iger? Who knows QuickBooks? That's who's next. Like, No,
I don't agree with that. I think there's more to it. I think it is not as simple. I think in order to lead the business, you have to understand what people want, and that involves knowing from a creative perspective what's going to do well and what isn't. And I think it's going to be big when it comes to issues like how do we tackle things like video games, or how do we tackle things like, how do we answer, I'm going back to it again, but how do we answer Nintendo Land and the fact that there's now a whole generation of adults who grew up with video games and they want to see it in theme parks because they are. And I don't think the CEO is going to be an Eisner level where he's coming up with ideas and throwing them out there, but I think he or she is going to be the kind of person who has to go, okay, we need to get somebody who can do this because this is the direction we need to go in. And I think we can have a CEO who steps in and goes, well, I'm going to keep trying to do what Iger's doing. I'm looking for another property to acquire. That's his style, right? Acquire and then just use it.
I think that they're not going to use anything from Fox in the parks now.
Well, I mean, we can get there, but to continue the CEO debate, I mean, remember that because we got to.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't the goal of acquiring? Wasn't his? I mean, couldn't you say that he was like laying the groundwork for future?
No, I think it's I think it's more of just like they needed that arm. I mean, what has Touchstone done recently? I think isn't Touchstone like done, or am I just completely wrong?
I don't remember.
Because I think the idea is like they need that leg of the company, and they've just been lacking it. Unless Touchstone's doing great things, and I am completely ignorant to it. But
that's back what Fox is now.
What's that?
That's what Fox will be now.
Right.
That'll be their Touchstone.
It'll be their Touchstone in the same way that if ABC failed at Flat Out in Space, they'd buy another TV studio. But I don't think there's a next step. I think the Disney Fox deal was, the only step that never made sense to me was the Comcast deal that was talked about in like 2003, 2004. And I know that was kind of just like for a graceful exit to Eisner, but like that was a terrible idea. But no, what I would say to Rob's point about the next CEO of asking, oh, well, he has to understand what people want. That, or he or she has to understand what people want. It would be amazing if a woman ran the Walt Disney Company, because I think that would just solve so many of this egos.
Like Kathleen Kennedy?
Maybe Kathleen Kennedy, she gets so much crap from Star Wars fans now, and it's because I think that you put an old school Hollywood producer in a role to build a new school producer like Kevin Feige thing, and I don't think she's the right person to do a cinematic universe, but like, how do you even know what that is? Right. But no, Kathleen Kennedy is like a BA. She's awesome. If you put her in charge, maybe, I don't know. I can't say, but I think it would also get rid of a lot of egos. But I
also think it'll be a name a lot of people just don't even know. Like, think about Bob Iger. How many people really knew him before he stepped
I don't know. Bob Iger was fairly well known, but not to the public. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I mean. I think a lot of people, I think they'll maybe turn to Kathleen Kennedy because she's a name that has been well known, more so than any other. Like, how many executives? We've got Bob Chapek, we've got Kathleen Kennedy. How many other executives are really that big in terms of names?
I guess the question would be, who's big up in Fox, and do you bring that person on to run the Walt Disney Company?
Hopefully no, because
the same way they did with Iger, because he was running ABC.
Sure, but ABC was also, they had been a part of Disney for what? That was like 8 years by that point.
Yeah, but I mean, he was brought on and he was named the successor like day one, unofficially. Like, he was always seen. There was no other person's name that was thrown around for succession, really, besides Iger for that 8-year span. And Eisner was just like faltering because that deal he got in '96, right? The 10-year extension contract was a miracle. It just came with the rights. Anyways, that's not the point. What I would say is, I remember, reading a lot about how those shareholder meetings went down. And I just think Disney shareholders are just different now. They're further away from Walt, because when people used to invest in the Walt Disney Company, I think it was something that was like special. Like, they're like, ooh, I get to be part of the magic. And I think now it's, they're investing because they want to see a huge return rather than they want to be a part of it. Do you know what I mean? I found some great interviews back in the day of that basically are all these shareholders, like just normal people that they're like, yeah, I'm a shareholder because I want the Walt Disney Company to succeed, and my kids watch Disney movies. And maybe that's still the case for a lot of people, but I think a large majority of the shareholders nowadays are about, return on investment, and that's what Iger's great at. But so case in point, whenever you say, I want a new I think the new CEO is going to have to be someone that understands what people want. What that means to people that want returns on their investment, and what that means to people that are not creative types, is live action adaptations. It's IPs. It's acquisitions. That's what people want.
Now, that's what they want now, though. Are we going to reach a point where those live action adaptations start to fail at the box office?
Well,
and then it's not.
We're about to see it.
It's about to see it.
Yeah.
There's like 3 this year. One of them's not going to do well. I think it's going to be Dumbo, even though that's the one I'm excited for. I'm really excited for Dumbo because it looks like different, and I think Dumbo's like.
No, you're right when you said first Aladdin. Aladdin's not going to do well.
I don't know. I think Aladdin's going to do well because people.
There's no Gilbert Gottfried. That's the problem.
I'm gonna hate
They did not put Iago in.
I knew he was going to be serious about this too. I knew.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I think Guy Ritchie directing is the problem more than
same level as Robin Williams. Gilbert Gottfried's performance in that, and it's iconic.
I think
that's not why it's not. There's not.
I think there could be a lot of reasons why it's not successful.
Gilbert Gottfried's not even in it. Like that's not what your kids.
They brought back James Earl Jones for Lion King. The least they could have done was brought back.
That's actually probably going to be a terrible mistake.
Why?
James Earl Jones. He's not.
Beyonce's in the movie, man.
No, not Lion King. I'm talking about James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones. He's a national treasure, and he was great as Mufasa. But he sounds.
Mufasa.
He's Mufasa. he sounds different. Like remember when Rogue One
sound? Yeah, I was gonna say he sounds much older when he does Vader in these movies.
No, but point being is, people. I don't think people understand that that creative industries, because of all the instant gratification. How do we make a quick buck and all those other things? Even if the quick buck takes 2 years, how do we guarantee that's going to be a quick buck later on? You know, no one asked for a Hans Christian Andersen adaptation of The Little Mermaid. No, like the shareholders weren't like, you know what we need? We need a Little Mermaid animation. They were like, I think this is a good idea. And it turned out to be a great idea. And the same thing with Beauty and the Beast and the same thing with Aladdin. These ideas sound fine. And same thing with Tangled and Frozen and Zootopia. And we see these new things happening. But whenever you see a slate that's mostly sequels and live action reboots, that's like, what's going to happen? Like, are these kids going to grow up on zombie versions of old media?
Of what we grew up on, yeah, right.
Right, which maybe is a good idea for a company that's already stuck in the past. I don't know. What do you think, Rob?
I think there's more of a balance than we seem. Like we think
he ran.
I think right now where you're seeing that total lack of a balance when it comes to their content is with their live action stuff for sure. All they're doing is the reboots. But I think in the world of animation,
they always stuck to live action.
We have, but and maybe Fox will change that. Maybe bringing in all those people from Fox that'll be where all the original live action stuff comes from, and then Disney is doing their remakes. I think the animation's a little bit more balanced than a lot of people argue it is, and it's tough. I think the risk is, yes, you could totally end up with a CEO who goes, well, look, everything Iger did was great. We're going to keep trying to do that. And that's where I think things are going to fall apart, because I don't think that's sustainable. But if they bring in somebody who's within the company, who was like, they've tailored their career around the Disney way and knowing that there's more value to these properties than just rushing out the same thing over and over again, then we might see people who are able to do different things or just branching into different industries that can help build upon what they have so that they don't have to depend on all of these live action remakes being, smash successes all the time. I mean, one of the areas that I feel like Iger really sucks at is video games. Like, there is a multi-billion-dollar industry that they are just kind of stepping away from because they're afraid, because they've tried it a few times and it didn't work out.
They failed they miscalculated the second year of Disney Infinity. And instead of like regrouping and investing more money into a solid platform that they were growing and that they could have innovated and really made like a massive stable platform for all of their IPs to have a consistent gameplay experience that was family friendly. Disney Infinity was such a great concept, and it's such a shame that they hired a video game studio to be a toy manufacturing company.
Right.
And they didn't know what
and to an extent, I get it. Iger is a TV guy. He knows television. He knows film. He doesn't come from that world. Maybe the next person will, and they'll know to move into that space. But I think in terms of the parks, you could see something similar happening where maybe there's somebody who comes in as CEO and they are that person who looks at Westworld and goes, yes, this is the direction we have to take things. And maybe Disney then does become that company chasing that because they're under that leadership.
That's when we're going to get into the fun stuff again, like the Disney Quest and the Club Disney, because that stuff's not going to work like 90% of the time. We're going to get into go.com. We're going to get into all that cool stuff that was just bizarre, because whenever someone tries new stuff, and that's the scary part, is 90% of the time it doesn't work. But that 10% of the time, it works so well that it covers for those other 90. That's the entertainment industry.
Yep.
Is 9 out of 10 times it fails, but that one time it's better than those other 9 times, which is interesting because Eisner was the singles and doubles route where it's like, well, what if 10 times we just did adequate?
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I guess that works too. But okay, so here's my scenario. So we're not going to reach a solid conclusion because we just have to see it happen. But in the, and this will, I guess this will be the end. In the event, Rob and Jack, in the event that there is a recession and people don't have $120 per day to go to the parks, and they don't have $600 per night to stay at the resorts, what, and there could be another events such that, not like forbid something like evil such as September 11th, but an event of some sort that hinders travel in some way. I don't mean to like say terrorist attack, hurricane, anything like that. Some event that hinders travel. Gas prices increase on airlines. So there's all these things happening at once. The parks become empty. They've just expanded them like crazy.
Mhm.
What happens? Walt Disney World Resort is now not meeting its capacity needs to maintain operation. What's the first thing to go? What closes down? What happens? Do they open new rides? Do they lower prices?
Well, yeah, I think the first step is they try to fix it with deals and stuff like that. I mean, thinking back to the 70s when they had the oil crisis, which prevented so many people from driving, I remember one of the things that they did to combat that was like trying to guarantee, like, we have a gas station, we have gas here, you will have enough gas to get home if you come to Disney. They didn't try to just like pretend it wasn't happening. They tried to, create a band-aid for whatever is causing this big dropout. So I think that's step one. I think closures of stuff become the last thing they do. But I don't know. I think then it becomes a numbers game. What rides aren't doing very well? Okay, we're going to put that on seasonal rotation, that sort of stuff. I think it becomes very logistical.
Ride to go at Magic Kingdom then?
What's that?
What's the first ride to go seasonal at Magic Kingdom?
Besides Carousel of Progress again?
Oh, you mean Carousel of Progress?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you meant the carousel. I was like, that thing costs $12 to run a year.
Yeah, you can't say Country Bear because that also costs $12 an hour. It's like one cast member running the whole friggin' thing. So it's like you got to think about which ones have, that's a cast member in each theater in Carousel of Progress.
I guess that's true.
Here's a dark thought. What if it's like a Space Mountain and they go, well, listen, we've got Tron. That's our coaster. We'll keep that open. Let's make Space Mountain seasonal. That way we could also sell it that way as come to Disney now because come enjoy Space Mountain for a limited time. They start treating these classic attractions like the McRib, where it's just like here for now.
And hit my stomach to hear him say that.
Darkest
Space Mountain for a limited time. Oh my god!
I'm really great at awful ideas.
That's terrible.
Well, I mean, they also like something like Timekeeper went seasonal rotation. So Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor.
Yeah, well, that's a show. All that stuff. Stitch, if it was still open, that'd be, I'd go seasonal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. I think even Buzz. I think Space Ranger.
Enchanted Tales with Belle is a heavy cast member.
Yeah, all that stuff.
I mean, hopefully by the point where something like this would happen, Tomorrowland looks totally different anyway. And so we're not even talking about Monsters Inc. or Buzz Lightyear. Hopefully they're gone by then.
No, Beer Guest is a quick service.
Is it now?
Beer Guest is always quick service.
No, I mean, it's quick service with a cat with like an extra step.
Yeah.
It's not like counter service.
I can hear one of my kids crying.
Do you want me to do? Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it this time?
So with that, it is also midnight. And
well, hold on.
Oh, let's finish the thought. Go ahead.
I mean, what do you think it is? What do you think they do in that situation?
I don't know, because you just spent all this money, and then things start to go awry again. It has to happen. It's not like they've like, boom, we fixed it. It'll never happen again. We will never lose money in the parks. And if it does happen again, like, what if people just culturally lose interest? And they have to get it revived again? I don't know. Like Disney, like this sustainability is, we've seen it because Iger is just so smooth with everything he does, except for that 1 week he was on Twitter. But other than that, it's been just such a smooth ride.
I can't wait for the next Disney war because I want to know the stories behind all of those sorts of things. You keep mentioning all these moments, like announcing the third ship. I want to know more.
Right? No, there's a lot. I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Iger's just, either they're holding him back or he's just more poised. It's definitely the latter. It's happy birthday, Michael Eisner, but it's definitely the latter.
Yeah.
That he's just more poised about it. And he was also cold and calculated when he was trying to get the CEO position. Do you remember reading about that in Disney War?
For sure.
How he would, like, people would get fired and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the top.
It almost seems out of his character that he keeps extending his contract, because I almost pinned him as being so calculated that he would know when to step down to just secure that legacy.
Come on, relax. My kid's upstairs screaming, and you won't wrap it up.
Okay, we can wrap it up.
No, you're fine.
I think, I thought he would have been gone by now, because I thought he would have seen the error of Eisner and go, okay, I'm going to get out of here before I start to decline. Maybe that's this year. I keep thinking, looking at the box office lineup and the fact that they're opening 2 Star Wars lands and they've got the Marvel lands, it just seems like he can't top himself after that. So he must leave after this Fox thing's all settled.
I mean, I think he's just staying on because they want a steady hand during the Fox.
Yeah.
A management shakeup. And that was the excuse they gave. They're pretty open about that.
But like, I think I can't imagine there's a next thing after Fox that might keep him even longer. I think Fox might just be it.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be out. I mean, he's almost. I mean, what? And if he stays even till 2025, he would have. Well, Eisner was what, 80? Yeah,
84 to 20 years or so. Yeah,
he's almost the same length as Eisner, which is a super long time. I mean, and I don't know. I think we've taken him for Iger for granted in a lot of ways, but he's also shown. I mean, I honestly think his tenure is just a life support mechanism. What movies besides Frozen culturally are going to have the impact that Lion King, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast? And I know that's you can't even compare that to the Disney Renaissance. But like, how often do you see Tangled merch?
Well, I think you have to look outside of Disney. I think it's going to be the Pixar stuff.
Maybe. But he did get Pixar, which I think was his best move, honestly, is repairing that relationship.
But and also, that's not what he was aiming for. You could tell through his style, he's very clearly not the one going, we need to create these amazing legacies. He's going, what ones exist already, and let's buy them. And for a short period, that works, but it's not going to keep working into the future, which is why I think whoever replaces him needs to do something different.
But the difference is he's devalued the Star Wars brand more than he's added value to it. 100%.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that.
I think it's too soon to tell.
You're either gonna turn it around with this next episode.
Well, I think the reception to the last episode was kind of overblown a bit. I don't think, obviously,
but even still, everyone's gunning against it.
No, it's okay. So it's 100%. The Last Jedi was just a weird cultural thing. Social media's weird. I mean, I didn't like the movie because I just didn't like the movie. I think that's fine, but it wasn't the end of my life. I still enjoy some Star Wars.
I think the brand will survive it.
No, it's not that, though. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you look at Star Wars merchandise, like, isn't there, like, Star Wars merchandise is way down as far as profitability. It's not that you've turned your Star Wars audience away or all these things people are saying. It's that you've overloaded the culture with Star Wars to the point. I mean, remember, like, in the mid 2000s when all there was the Clone Wars animated series, and so all the Lego sets were like things I've never seen before because I didn't watch that, and so I was like, what are these, like, Lego sets? But
that's why I think it's too soon to tell, because they what happened after Solo came out? They immediately canned supposedly these other 2 projects. So the next thing we were getting would be episode 9, which was a longer gap. They're shifting a little bit more to television. So I think when I say it's too soon, they seem to be reacting to it. They're not still going, well, we're doing one a year no matter what anyway, because we say so. So I think if they continue to react like that, I think give it time for the generation of who are kids now who are growing up with these films the way we did with, the prequel era and then generations before that with the originals, to see how they respond to it. When it comes to things like merchandise being down, my first thought was, well, how is merchandising with other properties? Is it a sign of the times more than a sign of just Star Wars?
No, I mean, as in, it's falling back. Like it's like other properties are surpassing it, kind of thing.
Interesting, because like I'm out of touch, right? Because I'm not married, I don't have kids, so I don't know like what kids are buying today or what kind of.
It's not even that. It's that you're not. It's like if you need to hit a refresh button on like your sense of what you need new things. You can't be writing.
Sure.
You need new things. You
Absolutely.
You can absorb new things, and I think that's where it's the life support argument. It's like just wait till the end of my tenure. It's I just refreshed it for another 4 years. We just bought 5.
I think we agree on this. I think it's just a matter of how we're labeling it. I think Iger went and going, this is a cyclical thing, and I'm just not going to be part of that part of the cycle. I'm going to be the part where we can buy a whole bunch of stuff, and then when it comes to creating new things to keep it going, that's somebody else's problem.
Well,
and hopefully whoever steps in realizes that and doesn't look at Iger and go, I'm just going to do that again, because that's where you're going to see them stumble.
Yeah. Well, anything else, Dan?
Oh no, he's young. My kids are taken care of now. The nightly night terror has been resolved.
Is that what that was?
Did they hear me say seasonal Space Mountain and like it gave him a nightmare and woke him up?
It rippled through the entire energy of the home.
Yeah.
One of my dogs had a seizure. It was like that.
No, I don't know the.
I want somebody. Here's the thing. I want somebody to make Westworld. Somebody in the chat said it. I want Westworld more than HBO. I 100% agree.
You are 100% on this.
Totally. It's immersion.
Well, yeah, no, I get it. It's fine. But he's trying to take the camera off, but he can't figure out how to do it.
I know how to do it. I haven't been anywhere. Listen, folks. Kevin is a solid 6 feet away at like a solid 90-degree like x-axis.
Just turn it on.
There's no way the camera's gonna see him. He's like in the fetal position.
Okay. Oh God. Why does it always end like this? It's like clockwork.
Why does it always end like this? Like every nightmare ends like this. I don't know. I think whatever comes next is going to be really. We're going to get this. It's like
what's going to happen to Spaceship Earth is the real question.
Oh yeah, yes, that's a good question.
I can't wait to find out.
It's going to be good.
Like the first major
2 years
log flume.
I'm looking forward to it.
Song of the Spaceship Earth.
The entire top of it into a greenhouse, and it's going to be living with the land log flume.
That's the thing is, Epcot works. It's just that the rides did not age well, and they refuse to update them. Like if they built, I told them, I was like, if they built a circuit breaker roller coaster for the Universe of Energy, and it was a roller coaster where the first 30 seconds are you explaining a circuit breaker, and they're like, oh, and by the way, energy travels really fast, and then it launched you. People would be in line for that for 4 hours.
Epcot is the annual pass holders park,
and it should be forever.
Right, and so that's where like things like Spaceship Earth, like the fact that like now like all of those things that like were so beloved, like Maelstrom and Journey into Imagination and Horizons, the fact that all that's and Universe of Energy, Wonders of Life, all that stuff is gone now. It's not going to. I feel like it's not going to be the. I mean, it's still for the festivals, but
dude, like they honestly, it's. I didn't realize it until they were like, yeah, we're going to destroy Interventions East or whatever. I was like, wow, it's like over. It's like
I wondered how much do you think it costs for me to be able to take a swing at the building? It's like a back
For all the
tour.
asbestos?
They give you the hard hat. They give you a hammer, and you get to
What
take
was
a
the show
bit
we're
of the
gonna
building down.
I hope you get to do it, Rob, just so you get asbestos poisoning.
Mesothelioma is what it's called.
Is it mesothelioma?
It's mesothelioma.
Well, stop
My
getting
name is
on my
Doug.
case about not knowing everything about asbestos. I know it's there, and I know it's a problem. Because Jack and I think we're sitting outside of Journey into Imagination, a cast member. Was that you, Jack?
Yeah, I think so. Which one was
Yeah,
this one?
A cast member came up to us and was like, "Yeah, we did a bunch of stuff in Journey into Imagination. Do you know how much asbestos is in there?" I was like, yeah.
Well, they can't take down a wall. They can't do anything. They can just paint over stuff. Like it's just that. It's like the whole Epcot is like a natural defense against predators. You can't break anything without dying in the process.
It's like it's funny because if Disney, I think someone has brought up in a meeting, what if we just bulldozed Epcot? Like, because there's a sinkhole under the Odyssey restaurant.
Like, not World
Yeah.
Showcase.
But there's a sinkhole under the Odyssey restaurant. There's asbestos in every single attraction. It's that nobody rides any of the Future World rides anymore. They go straight to World Showcase, or they go to the few that are. I mean, honestly, someone had to be like, I know we're not going to do this, but we probably should just bulldoze Epcot.
What if all those rumors about the hotel at Epcot, the actual rumors were it was going to be in Future World? It was going to replace Future World. It was going to be the World Showcase Hotel.
It's in Spaceship Earth.
Basically.
It's a completely immersive experience to where like Dreamfinder wakes you up.
It depends. Yeah, exactly. So each floor is a different time period from Spaceship Earth.
Oh, that would be
you get a room in, the Egyptian era, the Phoenician era, like you get all of that.
What about science?
The Rome burning floor always smells like it's on fire, which is probably
it's a huge issue.
Yeah.
Honey, it smells just like the room's on fire.
Yeah, Epcot will be an interesting, but hey, we'll find out D23. We'll see
Are you going to D23, Rob?
I am. I'll be there.
We're all gonna be there.
Do you want to go?
He just said he's going.
Hey, Jack, are you going?
Are we doing a trip, guys? We're doing a road trip?
Road trip.
Hard pass.
Wait a minute. Are we still going to? What was the foreign park we were going to?
We're going to go to. I need to go to Hong Kong.
Please don't call them foreign park. I mean,
the foreign park. The other one. The domestic or the foreign.
Wait. I thought we were going to
go
do Disney.
Are there any international parks?
Oh, okay. I'll use that.
What? You're the smartest one here. What is going to happen to Spaceship Earth if they're going to close it for 2 years?
It won't be.
They
bad.
built Epcot in 2 years, didn't they?
No.
Well, they're going to close it. They're going to replace the whole track. That's what they're going to do. But the thing is, when they built the ride, and then the sphere around it, and now they can't do that again. So they're going to be like, we have to get rid of this whole track without breaking the shell, and that's going to take forever. And then put a whole new track in.
I think a few Imagineers said, "I think I want to redo Spaceship Earth," and they said, "You can do that in your free time." And they said, "Okay."
That could be it too. You get a little smaller budget.
Yeah, you have 2 years. We'll close it down for 2 years. No one will notice except for Dan. And
here's what you mentioned this earlier. And now the more I think about it, I love the idea of them just putting all A1000s in, like replacing all the animatronics.
every animatronic
so, like,
costs like $10 million.
Every scene now is like.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Like now the papyrus guy, he like goes tap tap tap, woo, tap tap tap.
Like they're climbing ladders.
Like everything is super over articulate.
Yeah, like
that disco chick in like the science lab. She's literally dancing. She's doing Saturday Night
So does that mean if you ride it on a bad day, half of them are just screens?
yeah, they wheel them.
Remember? Oh, I just wrote Spaceship Earth again. Since I don't know if you have, Rob, but remember that time there was a watermark on Spaceship Earth?
They fixed it.
That was weird.
That was
they blew up the footage. Yeah. For people watching the stream, we rode Spaceship Earth, and the scene where you go past the cinema during like the whole information explosion, we saw a watermark for all of the old historical B-roll they were using from the Olympics, just right in the corner, and it was in color too, which made it very jarring. But the next time I wrote it, it was gone.
Yeah, it was gone. It was so strange.
That was weird.
Like I got footage of it with the watermark.
With only the sound effects. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
When Tom Cruise was like,
I think a solid thing that will happen will be all new screens in the ride vehicles. Right?
Dude,
Ones that don't work, hopefully, because they take them out because they're an awful idea.
I love Spaceship Earth, but if I could kill any Epcot attraction to bring back Journey or Horizons, I would kill Spaceship Earth and no time at all. Like, honestly, I'd rather have World of Motion.
Okay, here's a compromise for you. What if it's Spaceship Earth, but they replace Dame Judi Dench and the Dreamfinder narrates?
Oh my gosh, I would never get off.
Dude, we need to write it. We need to write that and then find someone, get like Nate to do his Dreamfinder voice and do a track and like just release it so people could have Dreamfinder.
I have a fine Dreamfinder voice.
You do have a good Dreamfinder voice. You do.
It would certainly make the Judi Dench script sound more serious in comparison, which I never would think would happen.
Like the Phoenicians. I mean, what does it say? I'm trying to think. What does Dreamfinder say? Hello, I am the Dreamfinder. And he just is the whole thing. Today we are going to learn about communication
on this great spaceship Earth.
On this great spaceship Earth. One little spark of communication will set the spark in all creation.
But all was not lost. A group of Jews rewrote all these scrolls. That's what they say in the thing. Jewish scholars, right?
Yeah, they do say that.
So Jack's like, that is a fact.
I remember the last time I wrote. No, I think I think they really need a.
We're doing that, by the way, guys. It's gonna happen.
We gotta. They have to figure out something with Epcot.
We just need to do a whole album of Dreamfinder narrating every ride.
I'll do an audiobook version of my book.
As Dreamfinder reading it?
Hello, my name is Kevin Perger. And then I'll have Figment come in. Figment's voice is so hard to do.
It is.
It's like, it's very high-pitched, but it's not very...
Remember the time we rode Journey into Your Imagination with Figment and our ride vehicle was out of sync with the ride?
That was weird.
That was super weird.
Yeah, but then because we got stuck in the fart scene twice.
Right.
Ride that gem while you can, because I bet D23, that's when we're going to find out it's done.
That's actually where most of the asbestos is. So,
well, what do you think they're spraying in your face when it's the smell scene? What do you?
They found a way.
The glass, they mixed lead and asbestos to make glass.
Dude, I really think they have one ace, like they have one card. They're like, I think they might be like, yeah, we're taking down Spaceship Earth and we're gonna put in New Horizons. Like you laugh.
We're going from a sphere to a.
You laugh, Rob, but
it was a horizon. I mean, that's what it was supposed to look like. It wasn't really a shape, I guess.
I really do believe there is going to be some sort
bomb drop, like a big like.
It's gonna end the panel. It's gonna be Bob Iger. He's gonna.
Were you there last D23, Rob?
No, I was just watching.
The park panel is not gonna end as magically as you're hoping, buddy. I'm sorry. The park panel that last year ended in the most forced, sappy nonsense I have ever witnessed in my entire life.
And it'd be Bob Chapek up there, not Iger.
Yeah. And like it was this whole they like wrote an original song about a green Mickey balloon. It's like, with my balloon, and like some kid with like cancer really wanted a green Mickey balloon.
Oh God!
And then he filled the auditorium with green Mickey balloons, and then there was a mariachi band. It was intense. And then there's all these dancers. There's all these dancers.
Cannons. They wheeled in dolphin tanks.
They had this whole dance number, and they all came out, and they look like the kids that you would see in the beginning of like Bible camp videos. They all were wearing primary color shirts and jeans, and they're like, we're the cool kids, right? And then Iger's like, and these were just regular humans before they became cast members. And then they all have run off stage and they all start coming back out in cast member uniforms, and they all doing synchronized stuff. It was rough.
We lost a lot of good people that day. No, okay. Well, my thing to end the stream would be, I really do believe at some point in the parks panel they're going to be like, we're destroying Future World, but just for you Epcot fans, we're bringing Journey back, or we're bringing Dreamfinder back to Journey. You know, you shake your head no, Rob, but if they built a Mystic Manor quality Journey or Horizons, a line would be out the door.
Sure, it would, but Disney, they ain't gonna do that. They already announced what the Epcot fans are getting, and it's those flags in the new entryway. Like that's what I think they
that's
think
actually
of those
Jack's
fans.
territory. Jack, how do you feel about those tombstones?
I feel great that I predicted it, even though it was the easiest thing to predict. I go, yeah,
I
guys.
made one video this year, and
I was right.
Solid granite.
Yeah,
that blew my mind.
Yeah, but then after I thought about it, I was like, why would they be so
right? I mean, logically, I just would have thought they were like slabs of concrete with like just granite, like lamination or something. You know what I mean? I didn't think they were like hollow. Like, I would have thought that if you had like a big dump truck, that those would have stopped you.
So where are those pictures going? The trash?
They're moving them outside of the park.
Outside the park,
you could just put them on a wall.
So if you need to go see Grandma,
it's by the security. It's by the security gate, opposite the monorail, like security gate. When it's on the other side by the Joffrey's Coffee.
If literally all they said was, "Hey, we're destroying Future World. I'm really sorry, but hey, if you get off the monorail, you won't have to go through baggage check a second time." I would be like, "Whatever. At least I got something for me." I'm tired of going through baggage check at TTC and then getting.
You know what? I would even go one step further. I would even accept them saying, "Look,
dude, you know,
I would accept them being like, look."
The parks panel is going to be Bob Iger dragging a chair out and sitting down in it backwards with his arms crossed on top, like John Progress in the third act, and he's just saying, "Look, I know this is going to sting."
Real talk. No, but they're like, what we're going to do is, no one wants these legacy stones. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grind them up and use them for new concrete. And so your legacy will be just pulverized and then paved.
You can still find your photos. They will be the banisters to the new walkway up to the monorail. We're just going to use that metal over again.
You want to know something that I just thought of that's really brilliant, and they should do this?
Brilliant.
Sell them. Buy a stranger's photo.
I would love to
buy a stranger's leave a legacy photo.
I'm like,
not buy your own back. Buy a random one.
We need to get someone on the phone because I would buy one. All right, as a keychain.
I want to find the oldest person knowing that they've died.
Yeah, that's not a privacy lawsuit waiting to happen or anything.
Look, they've been weathered so much you can't tell. Let's just say we're going to circle back for a second with the. Can we just say how it's a minor miracle that a hurricane hasn't like hurled like a tree through the Imagination Pavilion? You know what I mean?
No, it's not. I mean, Orlando.
It's not a miracle. They're just keep track of where the trees are too. Make sure there are no taller trees.
But I'm astonished that there hasn't been some kind of high intensity storm damage to that, like significant damage.
Why?
Because it's a solid glass pyramid in Hurricane Alley.
It's not okay. Walt Disney World is not in Hurricane Alley.
Well, it kind of is.
No, it is not.
Listen, there's a prevalent rumor that Disney takes apart the castle when a hurricane comes through. That is proof positive that hurricanes have hit the park enough.
Okay, so is that what you think of all rumors? So where is Walt Disney's frozen head? If there's a rumor.
It's under Spaceship Earth. Didn't you see Escape from Tomorrow?
Inside of Madame Leota's head. Duh. Haven't you seen that thing on Google about the monk statue and they x-rayed it and the Buddha gold thing and there was a mummified monk inside? Logic.
Okay.
Put it together. All right. No, wait.
Listen. I don't know what stupid idea got us on this track.
I got it. Listen to me. This is what they're going to do at the park.
You are spreading your legs so wide right now.
I'm just sitting crisscross applesauce halfways.
Okay.
There's nothing inappropriate about it.
Stop pointing to.
What? I'm not pointing to anything. All right. So listen, they're going to come out there and be like, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take off the whole outside of. This is what they need to do. Who cares? This isn't speculation. This is like a solid suggestion. Strip the outside of Spaceship Earth. Take all the panels off. Replace them with LED panels.
I hate it. I hate it so
all
much.
Of Spaceship Earth becomes a giant. So like they like base setting is like gray, and so it just looks normal. But then there's a whole nighttime spectacular they can do on the sphere. Who needs projection mapping when you have all these tiny little triangles?
Who needs projection mapping when you have
the much easier and cheaper technology when you can create the most expensive
projection
screen in the
mapping when you have
world?
my stupid expensive idea?
You know this is a good idea, Robert. Don't you act like it is.
They will not spend that much money on anything in Epcot.
Yeah, you know that you're in trouble when I call you by your full name.
Robert.
Excuse me, that's my father. I'm Rob Plays. It would end up looking like the globe in Illuminations. It'd just be a bunch of light bulbs. That's what they would do.
Did you ever get close up to that thing? That thing was intense. Every once in a while, they park it over by the stage by America, like service it.
I've never seen Illumination.
Really?
No.
Time's running out, buddy.
I know. Every time I've been to Epcot, I've either left before or during it. I run to Test Track, or I run to whatever the most popular.
Here's what's wrong with. Here's what they do, right? They closed Fantasmic in Hollywood Studios, and they do the Tokyo Sea version of Fantasmic in Epcot. But instead of villains, Mickey's got to fight all the countries, right? Because they're like, we don't want you in here. We don't want IP in the World Showcase. And Mickey's like, that's my dream. And then he starts like fighting like all the British guards.
No. They do it like Mickey's like
Mulan.
Mickey's like a billionaire's son, and he's like, I want to build a theme park in Tokyo. And Tokyo's like, okay, Mickey. He's like, I want to build a theme park in Paris. And Paris is like, oh. And it was just like, it's horrible. It's terrible. It's everything you're worried it's going to be. And
I just want a video montage of Mickey fist fighting Ben Franklin and Thomas Edison. Projected on an Earth.
But it's like the cast member isn't wearing the gloves, so it's like human fists. And he's like grabbing, like punching.
And then
get here.
Imagine the boat that comes out at the end, right? Steamboat Mickey appears to the top, and then instead of like all the Disney characters, it's like Ben Franklin. It's like
all the Meet the World
Norway
characters.
Troll. Yeah, it's a Canadian Mountie, and instead of streamers, they're all waving their flags.
Well, it's like that. What was it? Was it the year 2000 when they did that? Remember when they used to have parades?
I was there. Rob, were you?
Oh yeah, I was there. Yep.
That parade was intense.
Tapestry of Nations.
All those giant puppets fight Mickey, and Mickey's just shooting a T-shirt cannon at them.
I think that if I remember that parade correctly, the Tapestry of Nations parade, it didn't just go around World Showcase. There was like 8 units that would fill World Showcase at once, right? And then they would fill World Showcase. They would do a show stop, do this big number, and then they would immediately empty out. It wasn't like a parade around World Showcase.
Yeah, they changed it. It was spaced out because I think the first year or the first couple of years, it was part of that Millennium Celebration. And then they wanted to keep it, but they obviously couldn't just keep running that same show. It just, people wouldn't be able to walk around World Showcase. So that's when they started spacing it out like that.
Oh, did you hear about what Coco's doing? The Coco show is essentially immobilizing World Showcase.
You can't even walk through it now.
It's rough. It's like,
no.
And they got that stage out there by the fountain. Just put Coco out there on that stage.
No, they have to have that crappy Rock of Ages knockoff.
I'm just saying, there's better places to do it.
Yeah,
put them over by the sinkhole.
Put them on the Odyssey restaurant. Send them back. Send them to hell.
Just like Beetle style, a show on the roof. Just
yeah.
No, but then it starts sinking.
I was gonna say that's when you start to find out their weight capacities on all those walkways over the water.
LED panels all over Spaceship Earth. I'm telling
Worst idea. Okay, we need to end this.
It's the best idea.
It's not a good idea.
It's a fun idea that Disney will never do because it's super expensive and
just a hard pass on these Mickey bars. They're the worst. The chocolate is awful and flavorless. And the ice cream inside is like...
After the third one, I think I realized that they weren't very good.
They're not good, yeah. I mean, if maybe we just had one...
Maybe, I don't know. They're definitely... Are they better in the parks?
They're good in the parks.
From that? You know, my favorite ice cream I've ever had in the parks was when Hercules came out. They had a limited edition Hercules bar, and it was like this Hercules lightning shaped bar, and it was like ice. It was like the Magnum bars they have now with the caramel and chocolate.
Have you gone to that ice cream place on the boardwalk that has their special Disney flavor? I forget what it's called now. It's like right off by the ESPN zone on the boardwalk. Go there for your ice cream. Very good ice cream.
What ESPN zone?
The ESPN zone on the boardwalk. Their ESPN restaurant.
The disappointing thing that's happened to me at the boardwalk is the Abracadabra bar. Man, I had such high hopes for that joint, and it was sad.
Do people go to that?
They're like, all the drinks have magic tricks. Meanwhile, only 2 drinks have magic tricks. And the magic tricks is pour this drink into this cup with the little food coloring in it, and it's going to change color. Or pour this drink over some cotton candy and watch the cotton candy melt.
Hold on. I'm going to throw this to you. What do you want it to be, though? Like, what magic tricks do you have in mind for these drinks?
I wanted a Trader Sam's level magic bar.
Pick a card, throws drink in your face. Now lick it up.
Like I wanted.
This is your card.
I wanted them to bring I wanted them to serve drinks. This is what they should.
Are they Disney owned?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I wanted them to serve drinks in magicians' hats. So they would reach into the hat to pull your drink out. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff they should have done, but they didn't. They put up four LED screens that would transform every once in a while, and they had these 2 cheesy, crappy tricks. They had
the menu that was sort of like the Jacob's Ladder menu, but they got rid of those. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted some more I wanted them to have a Bloody Mary where it came out and there was a celery stalk across the top, and the waiter saw the celery stick in half and then stuck both ends. You know what I mean? That's the kind of nonsense that I want out of a magic themed bar at Disney World. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on. It's been approximately 8 minutes. I've come up with 12 better ideas than they did.
Yeah, well, you know what, Dan, is because someone has this idea, and then some ops manager is like, we can't actually do that. The same reason why all these hotels aren't going to work, but whatever, we'll see.
Those hotels are totally, they could totally work. They're not going to work under Disney. Disney's going to start it.
Trader Sam's restaurants across America.
Hey, this guy already made I'm Epcot.
Oh, yeah, somebody made the shirt already.
I'm Epcot's asbestos buddy. Dude, I gotta get that shirt. We gotta design it better than
Where did you get that? From a commercial.
I got mesothelioma.
Oh, where'd you get that?
Oh.
Robin, Jack, have you seen Oh Hello?
Broadway?
What?
Broadway?
Have you seen Oh Hello with
John
Mulaney and Nick Kroll?
Too much Tuda. You know that's referenced in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Is it?
It's when they do all the Spider-Man telling the story of their origin stories. Check out Times Square. Pause it. It's the alternate universe. Oh Hello. It's called Hi Hello, and it's the two of them. Yeah,
man, they need to bring that back. They need to bring it back. All right. Well, this has been a lovely chat, gentlemen. We've had quite the adventure. I'm going to experiment with the blur face tool once we're done. I don't know how that works, but we're going to learn.
Someone said that they saw me at Disney California Adventure.
Well, because you had a shirt on that said Defunctland, but I've seen other people that weren't you wearing Defunctland shirts when I was at Disney California Adventure.
Make a shirt that says
I am Defunctland.
I'm with Defunctland with an arrow pointing.
Well, I've done that before. I've had other people wear a shirt.
Yeah.
And then I've gone
producer or something.
No. They don't even know.
Oh,
so they're just like, and I've heard more people complain about the channel, to my friends, and me sitting there, me getting ready just to be praised, and it'll be like, oh yeah, I love Defunctland. It's such a great shirt. But usually it's like, oh, I really like that channel. They haven't posted about Disney in a while. I like their Disney videos. And they just go on about why they think the channel should be improved. And my friend who doesn't watch the show, because none of my friends do besides you, and I even sometimes I'm skeptical. But I know Rob.
I watch every episode of Rob Plays, Defunctland, all y'all stuff. I know none of y'all's watch my distories. So
I didn't even know the series was still going, to be honest.
I watch my YouTube in batches. Thank you very much. I go weeks and then I just power through like it's a Netflix show.
Right. That's how I do it. Rob, Game of Thrones is coming back, buddy. You ready for it?
I know it.
You don't like Game of Thrones?
I love it, but with all that sort of stuff, I don't get hyped up until like the day before.
Who's gonna be on the Iron Throne, Rob? Come on, who do you want?
I'll find out. And man, I don't know.
Jon Snow.
I don't know. I love this. So I don't care about that. I did a thing on Splash Mountain and the old Tales of the Okefenokee ride, and someone just commented, sure, they blame the remodel on the age of the animatronics, but I think we all know the real reason they got rid of the ride is because those damn bunnies wouldn't stop killing those kids.
We got to go to Knoebels. Rob, have you been to Knoebels?
No. I actually haven't been to a lot of like.
We're going this summer. I'm taking you both. It's one of the best things ever.
All right. I've been asked if I'm going to do a Dreamers Academy video. Haven't researched that yet, and I do miss Westworld, which is probably why I'm not focusing on Game of Thrones as much. I'm just acknowledging the chat there. Yeah.
Speaking of Westworld, that show is great.
Perfect.
I don't know what everyone's hate was with season 2. I love season 2.
I'm on same. Hey, I agree with you. I don't get. I do get it. People saw Westworld, the park, and they wanted more of that, and they dropped that real quick. And I would have loved to see more of that too, but I do like where it went, so I'm fine with it.
I was definitely more about it's essentially a drama about how a theme park works. That's what Westworld is.
That's what it started as. And then 5 episodes in, it became a drama about the meaning of artificial intelligence and what makes a person a human. And
it's a geniusly non-consistent and tangential show.
I think that's a song from Cats, the musical. Angelican cats and angelican cats. And then now I'm going to turn off the stream because say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.